you ever been scrolling and just watching person after person create something beautiful and wish that that could be you too? Like you want to make something, you want to bring that creativity into your own life, but another part of you just says that could never be me. Or maybe you've just been craving a creative outlet, but you don't know where to begin. It just feels unreachable. Well, I want to gently reframe something for you today. Creativity isn't something you earn. It isn't something some people have and others don't. It's something you return to. It already lives in you. Creativity is in all of us. Like, just think back to the creativity you had when you were a kid. But as we get older, our creative side can get buried under overstimulation, exhaustion, and pressure. Life's hard. So today, we're not forcing creativity. We're simply making space for it to come back to us. The first steps to making creativity your new way of life. So pour yourself your favorite coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's begin. Hi, I'm Emma and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Clay, a little series where we sculpt with polymer clay and sip on some coffee and just have some nice, honest chats about being a human and an artist. And sometimes we also talk about being a small business owner. I am an entrepreneur. I love it. But today isn't about productivity. It's about getting back in touch with the creativity inside of us all. So last night, actually, I was working on sculpting some little froggies. So I love the color of this Iggy froggy I did for my last drop. So I want to make this frog in this color, but I want to combine it with the mushroom frog I used to do. So we're doing a light colored mushroom frog for this new collection, and I'm so excited. But for this video, actually, I wanted to make some little Highland cows. So I'm going to put these little froggies away for safekeeping. So I'm gonna start with something that may at first sound a little unhelpful, and your first instinct might just be that you don't wanna do it, but stick with me, stick with me. That's my dog. I have a little small barky chihuahua. Come here, come here. So the first step that we're gonna talk about is be bored. Be bored. Let your mind be bored for a bit. We don't really experience boredom anymore, at least not truly. We're constantly stimulated, scrolling, watching, listening, consuming. There's always something to fill the space. And because of that, there's often no room left for your own mind to simply just wander. And while, yes, we do get inspiration and motivation from the world around us, I'm not saying not to do that, but we need to allow for some balance and find some room for our own voice. Because creativity itself doesn't normally show up in all of the noise. It shows up in the quiet gaps after and between them. So if you feel blocked creatively, it might not be that you don't have any ideas. You just might not have cultivated enough stillness to really hear them. And I'm not saying you need to all of a sudden meditate all the time. You don't have to meditate at all or sit completely still. Although you totally could if you wanted to. But honestly, some of my best ideas come in the most mundane moments of my day. Washing the dishes, brushing my teeth, going to the grocery store, walking my dog, taking a shower, cooking dinner. It's in those small moments where I'm actually doing just a little bit of movement, but my mind is free, that it really wanders, and that's when I find some of my best ideas. But all that to say, I also am definitely one that'll pop on a podcast or turn on a YouTube video to kind of essentially body double while I'm doing my tasks throughout the day. So I'm not saying you have to do all of the mundane moments of your life all the time in stillness. Just find moments in your day that you can just allow your mind to wander, and it might be uncomfortable at first. Most likely it will be uncomfortable. But then when you find your thoughts kind of start filling the space a little bit and you can kind of hear what you're thinking, you might find some magic. But before we go any further, I want to just soften this a little bit more, back up just a little bit. Because sometimes what we call creative block, or just not being a creative person in general, it's not that you're not creative, it's not that you don't have it in you. You're probably just exhausted. Just pure exhaustion, and potentially it's even to the point of burnout. It's not laziness, it's not a lack of inspiration or a lack of creativity. You're just tired. You're maybe overstimulated and your body's shut down, which is a totally normal human experience that at one point or another, I'm sure we've all had. It's a survival mechanism. Like, don't feel bad if that's where you're at or that's where you've been. It just means that you're a human and life is hard. So maybe what you need first isn't to try to sit down and create, but to simply just give yourself permission to stop and rest. Like guilt-free rest, actual restoration, so your nervous system can settle and regulate. I know I personally have a very, very, very sensitive nervous system, and I can very easily get dysregulated. And when I'm in that state, when I try to do something, maybe it's even something that I love, I simply just can't because my body's overdrawn and I'm in survival mode and I'm truly spent. I have nothing else to give. So I know when I say to regulate your nervous system, that is so much easier to say than actually do. But I also know that resting, especially in a Western society, not that easy. It can be hard to rest without feeling guilty, without feeling like you always need to be doing something productive, something to get you to the next step, to be more successful, yada, 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 capitalism. But I do truly believe that the only real rest you can have is guilt-free rest when you're just existing. So here's your permission to simply just be. To just rest. Trust in the fact that your future self is gonna benefit from it probably more than you even realize. I mean, if you're really gonna go there, rest, in my opinion, is always productive, but not in the sense that we normally think of productivity, if that makes sense. Because I do truly believe that creativity is within all of us. It's like a natural part of being human. It gets buried. We grow up and we get busy and we get tired and we lose that creativity that we were once praised for when we were kids. So if you're in that place right now, if you're just exhausted, this is your permission to just rest. Simply rest. You need it. And when you find space starting to open up within you, you feel like you're ready to finally start doing it, you want to create, here's my next advice. Whatever you do, do not rush into trying to find your passion. Just simply start. Because boy, oh boy, have I been there. You get all this motivation, you want to start, but because you put so much pressure on it, you become paralyzed. So simply take some pressure off your shoulders and simply just get curious. Just start with curiosity, try things out, try new things, just explore with zero expectations for how things might turn out. Because curiosity is the beginning of creativity. Not passion, not mastery, not productivity, simply curiosity. Because at this point, I'm sure we've all heard the saying that it's not about the end product, it's about the journey, and we hear it all the time because it's true. It's really true. Curiosity is a thing that'll keep you motivated, that'll keep you wanting to learn and explore and try new things. And it's also where you'll find those like feel-good flow states where you just start and you just get lost in the moment. You're so present, everything around you just quiets down and you're really just in that moment. And if you want to find the real magic in life, the real magic in creativity, take curiosity and play, or maybe a more comfortable adult word for play is also just exploration. So put your curiosity and your play, or exploration if you prefer to call it that, together, and there, my friend, is creativity. One interesting question I've had people ask me before is, what do I do with the clay that I quote unquote wasted because I didn't like the design, or I messed up the piece, or something happened and it wasn't necessarily usable at the end, or it wasn't necessarily cute or how I would like something to look? And I find this really interesting because personally, I never see any bit of clay as ever being wasted. If I didn't make those earlier designs, if I didn't try different things out, if I didn't try different details and shapes and sizes and colors and looks, If I didn't go in all those kind of maybe random or awkward or just not great directions, then I never would have gotten to the final pieces I end up then adoring, that hopefully you end up adoring too. And I think this really just comes back to the whole idea of that it's not about the end product when it comes to creativity. Maybe when it comes to running a business or, making money, the end product, I'm not gonna lie, it does matter. But if we're thinking about pure creativity, then it's really about the process of making the thing. So honestly, I never think of any of it as a waste. I just think of all of it as being part of the journey, the creative process. So to kind of sum that up, when creating, don't worry too much about the final piece when you start. Just start. Simply just start. That's the hardest part. And then be willing to explore and try different things and just see where it takes you. Because most likely wherever you end up going with it at the end of the day is probably not where you expected to be in the first place. But that's the beauty of creativity. As we're exploring, as we're doing it, these new routes, I guess you could say, or new ideas become unlocked and you start to see things through a different lens. So it might take you somewhere that you never expected, but it also might be so much better and fulfilling than you ever could have expected either. And something I've been learning throughout running my creative business is that I really love mixing my different creative passions together. For example, obviously I love videography, otherwise I probably wouldn't be making these videos because a lot of it is filming and editing and it takes a lot of time, but I love it. So I get that I love to mix this, my creative practice, and kind of do it all. Beyond that, I've had a really deep passion for writing and reading ever since I was little. I was that kid constantly journaling, writing stories, reading for hours, and honestly spending more time with books than I did with kids my own age because I've always been a massive introvert and narrow spicy. And I've been trying to bring more of those parts of myself into my creative business too. So over the past months, I've really been loving writing my email newsletter, which you can sign up for on my website if you want to follow along with that. And I want to thank OmniSend for being my favorite email marketing platform and for sponsoring this portion of the video. One thing I appreciate about OmniSend is that it gives me a seamless way to stay connected with my community. It lets me share things in a slower, more personal way, almost like little journal entries. I can share behind the scene moments, shop updates, and everything else in between. There are a ton of templates to choose from. Just look at all of these, and so many ways to customize everything to your liking with their smooth drag and drop navigation. And something else that's really cool is that they make it really easy to also grow your business with text messaging, and they've actually just lowered their SMS pricing for business owners as well, starting at just 0.007 cents. Yes, that is literally less than a penny. And if you're currently on another platform, the migration team will help you move over for free. Every flow, list, and template. In as little as 5 days, you could be paying up to 35% less without even lifting a finger. A huge part of creativity is building a life and systems that support you instead of draining you. And this OmniSend has really been helping me. And it's also just fun too. So if you'd like to get started, I have a special offer for you to get 30% off your first 3 months. Just scan the QR code somewhere here on the screen or check out the link in the description. And with that being said, let's get back to sculpting. Don't take yourself too seriously and just embrace being a beginner. I also understand though that there's something really vulnerable here that often stops most people. Like there's a reason we find it hard to start, to begin something. Most of us are scared of being beginners, and that's honestly a very natural human reaction. We want to skip the potentially awkward beginning and just jump right to where we're already good at doing it. But the beginning is where everything actually starts. I mean, it's literally in the definition of the word. But I also understand deeply there's a certain kind of almost shame and embarrassment that can come up, especially in adulthood, when we try something new and we're not instantly just skilled or good. But I do believe that shame is something we can gently unlearn. And we often unlearn by simply just doing it. Doing the thing that feels vulnerable or scary or impossible, and then literally showing our brains that we made it through, that we did it, and it wasn't as scary as we thought it would be. And maybe, just maybe, we even want to do it again. You know, it's kind of like giving ourselves tiny little doses of like exposure therapy. And also through doing things that we didn't think we could do, but showing ourselves that we could in fact do it is also one of the biggest ways we can grow our self-trust. When I first started doing polymer clay again as an adult, I definitely wasn't shouting it from the rooftops. And in fact, I actually felt a little embarrassed because it felt too childish or silly or immature. And I was even to the point shy where I didn't want to tell my therapist I was doing it at the time because I thought she would judge me, which that's a lot, to be honest, of where I was at then, just like a good handful of years ago to where I've come now and I'm posting all this all over the internet. My therapist really helped me just understand that it's not childish and it's not silly and it's just part of being human, and I got more aligned with who I am and my values. And I think one of the biggest changes is that through doing that, I started to just kind of let go of my fears what others might think and to simply let myself embrace all of the joy and the happiness that I found within it. And now our cow has her little face, so we'll add the little focus on her face, not mine, please, thank you. We'll add the little bangs onto the cow, the hair, and then move on to the sunflowers. But one thing I've learned through my journey of just like embracing the unknown and doing the things that scare me is that life is literally always in motion. We're always changing, we're always evolving, we're always learning new things. The person we were a week ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 60 years ago. I'm not 60 yet, but I am excited to be 60 one day. And we're just always new versions of ourselves, and that's amazing. Like, we're never stuck. Just because we were something doesn't mean we have to keep doing that. Like, we can change and grow and evolve, and that's such a beautiful thing. And I know that also means embracing uncertainty, because with change comes change and uncertainty, and we don't know where life's going to take us. But instead of being scared by that and thinking of all of the negative things that could happen, what if you just start thinking about all the good things? Like, what if all these amazing things could happen? What if life's better than you could have ever imagined? What if you find so much more joy and happiness and you feel just so much more like yourself than you ever could have imagined? And I think the beautiful thing about the futures and uncertainty is that there's so much potential. Embrace it, see where it takes you. And I know it's easier said than done, trust me, I know. But life could potentially be so much more beautiful than you ever even imagined. And for me, that started with literally just making my silly little clay creations. And now I have a whole different career and my life looks totally different. And I love it. And I'm so grateful to my past self for just starting despite all of my fears and insecurities and embarrassment in the beginning. And now look at me. So you never know where life's gonna take ya. Almost forgot to add the little horns on our Highland cow. So we're gonna do that really quick while we talk about some more practical, concrete tips. Well, I guess so far they've been kind of practical and concrete to rest and to, slow down a little bit. But we're gonna dive even more into it and like finding inspiration and getting inspired and living a more creative life. I've noticed that when I consume too much, I struggle to hear my own ideas, my own inner voice, my own thoughts. It's just too much input, especially as someone who struggles a lot with like sensory sensitivities and overwhelm. I've had to be really aware and cognizant of this. And when I'm consuming less, and I'm specifically talking about like short form social media here, then I find that I'm just more present in my everyday life and my own internal life feels so much more rich. Like, when was the last time you just went on a walk, whether it was around your neighborhood or you went to a park, and you just observed the world around you? What did you notice? Like, how do the trees make you feel? What textures do you notice in the ripples of the lake? How can you find inspiration in the natural, physical world around you? So I do really believe it's important to just gently create some space where I'm not constantly taking other people's work before I make my own. And instead, I just let myself be a human in the world, because creation does need some quiet to form, even just a little bit. It can go a long way. But But that being said, it's all about finding balance, because when I do look at other people's work, I also do feel inspired. Like, I do also want to be actively consuming art. But it's also really important to stay on the side of it being inspiration and not falling into the comparison trap or passively consuming, like it's easy to do, especially with short form content. So when you do consume, try to consume actively and consciously and let the inspiration expand you. Comparison and passivity can shrink you, but if you let your creativity lead, then maybe you'll find the world just becomes so much more expansive. Like, almost you unlock a new level in a video game and you just find this whole new world because you're just noticing things around you through a different lens. And use different mediums to inspire your art too. Like, read books, play video games, you can watch films. This is my projector. Like, just walk around your town or your city and go to museums, explore new places, have deep talks with your friends. Like, there's so much inspiration all around us. And if we're a little bit more active, what we're choosing, like, also like music, listen to music, go to shows. Like, there's so much that we can be inspired by, but we just have to like be perceiving as inspiration, I guess. Like, if you're just walking around and if we're in our own heads, which I'm very guilty of doing, it can be so easy to be lost in our thoughts. But if we choose to just be present and just challenge ourselves to notice just a few small things, and if this is new, like maybe just like try to find 3 new things on your way to work the next day, and just try to like notice small things and just get a little bit more attuned to the world around you, which at the end of the day, it's just being present. I mean, the Buddhists know it best, I think, but let the world inspire you. Like, let the flowers inspire you. Put things in your home that spark joy and inspiration and color. I love color so much. And like, there's just so much joy and beauty to be found in the world, but I do think it is a bit of a skill to get in tune with it and to like notice it. And then as you're looking for inspiration around you, be active and like ask yourself questions. What do I think about this? What do I like about this? What do I not like about this? How could I take elements of this and add to my own art? How could I combine, like inspiration that I find from here and here and here and here and here to all these little areas? And how can I combine them into something new? How can I make my own new thing by taking all these little things that I love and I'm inspired by and that I'm curious about, and create a new thing? Let the ideas evolve into something fresh and new. It's kind of like you're creating your own hodgepodge of inspiration from everything. And if it helps you, and something that I've done before, I know people do, is to essentially create an inspiration board. So it's the same idea as like a vision board, but you're specifically pulling things that inspire you to, it could be inspire you for anything, but here we're going to talk about like inspiring you to like make art and to be more creative in your life. And you can make a collage, you can make a Pinterest board, just like collect little things. You can like see them all next to each other and then see what it then makes you want to make. And also on a different note, I do want to say that creativity, while we're talking more about creativity in relation to art in this video, creativity is found everywhere. Like, I believe like you have creativity when you're doing mathematics and science specifically. Oh my God, science is such a creative field. Like, creativity is literally in everything. And so also if you're like, well, I'm not creative because I'm not an artist, it's like, that's okay. You can be creative with so many things in this world. Like, you can be creative with like interior design, you can be creative with how you do your garden, you can be creative with cooking, or how you're putting together anything. It's literally limitless, like the world, in my opinion. And I think I'm kind of right on this. Everything is built on creativity, and that is the beautiful thing. And it's literally all around us. We just don't always notice it. The other little piece of advice that I have is to also have some kind of space, whether it could be like a note on your phone or an actual journal, where you just brain dump your ideas as they come. Especially with me and my squirrel brain, I'll get ideas, and if I don't write it down instantly, it'll leave my brain and I will potentially never think of it again. And so I do think it's really important that when you do get an idea, when you do get a spark of inspiration, write it down or sketch it out quickly. Make some kind of notes so that you can return to it when you actually have the time to then like dive into it, so you don't like let these little ideas escape you. And also, I know we need to get back to sculpting. We need to put the little sunflowers on the Highland cow so that it's not just a Highland cow, it's a sunflower Highland cow. But before I do that, because I'm just taking a little coffee break, for you, it probably hasn't been too long, this video. For me, it's been a good few hours. Filming always takes a good chunk of time, which is fine. I love it. But it does take some time, and I want to just sit and drink my coffee for a second. So we're gonna talk about a comment that I actually got on, I think it was just my last video. But essentially this person wrote a comment asking how the fear of like accidentally copying someone's work and like imposter syndrome, and how essentially being scared that they're gonna make art, that they're not intentionally copying anyone's work, but because we're all humans and we have similar ideas, that someone might come at them and be like, you copied my work. And I have a lot of thoughts on this, and so I'm gonna do my best to summarize this. First off, I wanna say there's a huge difference between intentionally copying someone and then maybe accidentally copying because we're all humans and we have similar thoughts and we're inspired by similar things. So obviously if you're intentionally copying someone, and unfortunately this has happened to me, I've had people not only copy my worry stones, but I actually had someone who literally stole my videos and my photos, and they put it on a website, and they were running reels that I created with my voice as ads on their account. I, did all the legal stuff, submitted forms. I have a lot of feelings about it. I've worked through a lot of my feelings about it, but it's still just a very unfortunate part of being a small artist. But I do think in a lot of cases, humans are humans and we have similar inspirations and ideas, and accidental copying can happen. And I think people can tell when it's intentional versus not, and it just happens to be an accident. So I think as long as you have the good intentions and you make sure you're not exactly copying anyone's work, especially to sell. I think if you're just doing it for like your own hobby and just at home for fun, that's a bit different. Like if you just want to make my designs for yourself at home for fun or for like your friend, that's okay. Please do not replicate my designs and create a shop and sell them. That's not okay. That's an infringement of copyright. Like, please respect everyone's creative rights. But I also think specifically for this comment, she was so thoughtful. It's a very long comment, or they, he, I'm not sure who wrote it. I don't think you have to worry about copying, because clearly you're thinking about the fact that you want to make sure you're not copying someone. And if you're just very intentional about that, then the likelihood of it happening is very small. Well, I am fully rambling now, and hopefully that made sense. And let's get back to sculpting. Once you gather your inspiration, then just start. Go get your materials. Maybe you could even like watch a YouTube video. I just posted a whole Polymer Clay 101 video, but there's also so many talented people on YouTube. Like, you can basically learn anything you want on YouTube. So definitely take advantage of all of the tutorials that are around, of all the people sharing their wonderful, beautiful, amazing knowledge on here. And simply create. Just start. Just do it. Just do it, okay? And I also just want to touch on the fact that with social media these days, I know we can feel the pressure that we need to kind of share everything, or maybe it's like, if no one sees it, if we don't share it, like, did it ever exist? Like, did we ever make it? And obviously, of course it does, it exists. But I just want to give you the permission here that you can just exist and create in private. Just do it for yourself. Don't feel the pressure to have to post anything or share it with anyone, unless you want to, obviously. Then absolutely go for it. But I just want to give you a free hall pass to keep everything private, especially at the beginning, especially as you're figuring it out. Like, you don't have to share it unless you want to. I fully understand how some ideas are just so tender when they're forming, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with just protecting it and holding it close. Like, it's yours to choose when and if you want to share it. There's no wrong or right way to do that. Yay! And it is all done. We have our Highland cow all finished. And at a certain point, with just practice and time, then you'll start to find creativity is less about finding ideas and learning from other people, and it's more about trusting the ideas that you have yourself. Trusting in even the quieter ideas, the ones that maybe seem too simple or not unique enough. Like, just trust in yourself and your creativity and explore it, have fun. But also accept that creativity it's not linear. Creativity comes in cycles. Rest, inspiration, action, actually making things, and then maybe being a little quieter again and resting. And I think especially as women, and I know like with me, like my menstrual cycle really impacts my creativity. So it's kind of like a monthly pattern that I've just learned to accept. I think I used to fight it and want to like always feel like I'm in this one constant state in my body all the time. I'm always in my creativity. And that's just not true. And that's also okay. I'm not fighting it anymore. I've just accepted it, and I'm learning to work with my body and my brain and my ideas and not try to fight against wishing it was a different way. And especially if you deal with any kind of chronic health conditions or mental health struggles, like I feel you, I struggle a lot with them. It's okay to feel like you're inconsistent. I feel inconsistent a lot of the times, and it's definitely a cycle that I'm learning to just accept and live with. But if anything, I think because I know how hard life can be, and I've struggled a lot ever since I was like a kid and a teen, like it also does make me just want to find the joy in life, and it inspires me to really want to embrace the moments when I do feel good and I do want to do things. And that's also maybe why sometimes I, on social media go a little quiet, because I just don't have the capacity that week to film or edit and do stuff. And that's okay. I'm learning to love my body and to just work with my body. And I wish all of us can do the same. And I know it's hard. Trust me, I get really frustrated with my body and my mind, but okay, we're rambling, getting to the end of the video, and I'm rambling, but just saying, treat yourself with kindness and grace, and just learn kind of what your creative cycle is and how your body works, and learn to work with it. And over time, I do also believe that creativity, it's kind of like a muscle. Like the more you use it and engage with it, the stronger your creativity becomes and the more natural it becomes, and things that used to feel hard or impossible now just feel normal, which is kind of cool. But don't try to force being creative. Like just try to slowly over time return to that creativity that you had as a kid, because I trust you. It's in there somewhere. And I think I'm getting to the point in this video where I'm getting a little loopy because I'm tired and I need to eat some lunch. But before I end off the video, I just want to end off by saying, if you're wanting to get creative, if you're wanting to start this adventure, I actually don't recommend asking yourself, how can I be more creative? Instead, get in touch with that soft creature in you, that inner child, and just ask yourself, how do I make more room, more space in my life to be creative? How can you create more space to let your creativity breathe? I hope you enjoyed this video of coffee and clay, and it added some inspiration and coziness and just warmth and light to your day. And I also just want to give a quick little shout out again to OmniSun for sponsoring a portion of this video. And if you'd like to create a cozy little warm newsletter for your small business, they definitely have your back. Okay, now I invite you to go just rest or create or find some inspiration, or simply just take 5 minutes to just be in silence or do something that is gonna nourish that beautiful, beautiful creative soul of yours. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, friends.